Welcome, good-looking people. If you've seen this episode of Boy Meets World, known as And Then There Was Shawn, you know this is a very different episode. And so Brett has changed up the intro just a smidgen, and it threw me off a little bit. So I guess I will go ahead and give a fair warning of, hey, just in case your kid accidentally stumbles onto this episode, depending upon their age, maybe this is not the episode they should watch. Speaking as a kid who watched this episode way too early himself and will not allow his child to watch it just yet. So, with that said, Brett, hit that intro.
When these dads meet world, watching Boy Meets World. We grew up on the show, now we have kids and host a podcast.
Welcome to John Adams High, where you are gonna die, that's right.
We watch each episode and then share our thoughts and grades.
Here's a knife, here's a gun, there'll be fun for everyone. Death is on the menu tonight.
When these dads meet world.
They want you to take the roles.
Yes, indeed. We do want you to take the roles, and for one time only, Brett, we want you to go ahead and deal with your anger issues in the weirdest way possible through
That's
dreams. This is Dad's Meet World, your weekly deep dive into that 90s classic show known as Boy Meets World. I don't know, my other intro might have worked out a lot better, where I was a little panicky, not really sure how to talk. But I am your dad number one this week, Tyler. Joined as always is by
Dad numero dos, that dreamy dad who won't hunt you down and kill you with a pencil.
yes, and unfortunately will die first.
How will I die first?
I don't know.
I have main character syndrome, thank you very much.
You very much do, Brett. So much so, we have a special guest with us.
That's right. Sitting in the booth with me tonight, we have... Oh, wait. I have a much better sound effect for that. We have... Come on. There we go.
Unmute.
Me, I guess. Try again.
Me again.
Who's me again?
It's me. That's all you need to know.
Brett, would you like to formally introduce this guest of ours? I know it's been a while since they've been on.
This is my eldest child, Abby. We have had on the podcast several times and specifically requested this episode to be on. Yes. And this is among two of your favorite episodes, correct?
Yes.
All right. And since we're in the same room and we're experimenting with a different microphone, we have some echo. So I'm playing audio engineer and host at the same time. So I'm going to ask the question again, and I'm going to point to you behind me and have you answer the question again after I've unmuted you. So this is one of two favorite episodes, correct?
Yes.
All right. We got it that time. So I am going to kind of bow out a little bit since Tyler is hosting this episode this week, and let him kind of lead this part of our episode so that I can unmute and mute myself so that we're only messing with one microphone in this room. So here we go. Unmuting myself or muting myself and unmuting you.
Right. So I guess we should start from the top then. Abby, tell us about this episode and why you like it. Why'd you want to talk about it?
Because, well, first of all, it is an amazing episode, of course. a huge horror fan, so I enjoy it very much. And so yeah, am I giving like a synopsis right now?
If you want to. Normally,
Okay.
your father will read one off from the internet.
Okay, I mean I can. I explain things very well.
Okay, go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay, so Topanga and Corey are going through this rough patch, right? A bit of a scandal. So of course that means they can't sit next to each other, right? That's kind of goofy. So, but of course, I say of course a lot. Hold on. Of course, obviously. Shawn gets very mad about that and makes a big scene, which Feeny says, hell no, literally.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to say those words, even in quoting.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he said it, so I can.
Wow. My youth pastor heard this. He'd be so upset right now.
Believe me, your youth pastor sometimes struggles with this even when you're not around.
Anyway, as I was saying, so they get sent to detention, and for some reason Kenny's there too, and never really understood that part. Bro just asked for a pencil. But, and it's like, Feeny leaves. He's like, I don't care enough to watch you, so I'm just gonna leave. So that happens. And then Kenny's dead. Someone killed him. And Angela screams a lot. And so they're trying to hunt down the killer man. Just go all around the school looking for him. There's some nice songs, some more murders. And at the very end, Shawn finds out, oh my gosh, I'm the murderer. Oh my. And then he wakes up because it was all a dream, which kind of sucks, but it's fine. Because obviously no one's actually going to die. But yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this for me, and either one of you can respond to this, but I like this episode because they're all more heightened versions of themselves. Like, it's the things that Shawn thinks that they would be caring about. Like, Corey is the most closely to who he is because of their best friends, but like, you know, he sees Eric kind of as a joke, so like that's all Eric does is make jokes, you know. This is as close to season 6 Eric as we'll get this season. And then, you know, for Jack, you know, he says, if I can't live in my apartment, I don't want to live. Like, you know, the possessions are the thing that is most important to him. So it's just so interesting to me that like the versions of the that Eric that Shawn has in his dream of who he feels these people are.
Yeah, they
Says a lot about them.
definitely are more caricatures than actual characters, which usually would be a bad thing, but in the context is actually pretty clever.
Mm-hmm. So, what's one of your favorite horror tropes that ends up in this episode there, Abby?
It's kind of a goofy one, but at least they're not right behind us. Oh no.
Then there'll be a shadowy figure wandering the halls behind us.
Looks behind. Oh, nothing there. Except not. Other way.
Very nice. Have you ever been in a detention so long that it becomes way too late and everyone has left the school?
I've never been in detention.
Oh, neither did I.
So I don't know. But I have been at rehearsals really late during tech week, and it is kind of spooky when you leave and it's dark and no one's really there.
Have you ever been to the school early before everybody is there?
Not really, no.
I've done that before. It was really freaky.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. So, what about the whole Shawn is the murderer? Like, what do you think about that element to this episode?
I think, well, at first it might seem kind of stupid. The more you think about it, it actually goes along really well with everything that's happening, and Shawn definitely needed that, for lack of a better term, that come to Jesus moment of like, holy crap, I actually am the one messing up. Even though I think I'm trying to help, because throughout the whole episode he is trying to help them all navigate the situation. But in the end, he's the one that actually makes it a mess in the first place.
Okay. Do you have any? I guess I'll ask this. What do you think is the best kill in the episode?
Oh. I'll say in second place is Kenny for sure. I mean, we'll always know he was that tall. It gets me every time. But number one has to be Phoebe. The song is beautiful. The reveal is beautiful. I want to know how he stood completely still that whole time. Like, I'm impressed.
He's a classically trained actor.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yes. Well, if you'd like to stay on a little bit longer, feel free to. But we'll have to talk to you a little bit more in depth when it comes to acting at another time.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait for that to happen.
When kid gets acquainted with universes.
Yeah. Number one. Okay, I'll
so
say a little.
Hopping off at this point, or are you staying on?
I'll be leaving, so I'm gonna say a fun little goodbye. Just here a little bit this time, but next time is gonna be great.
You want to hit us not with the synopsis, but all the other stuff, Brett?
All right. So yes, we had that breakdown from Abby. This episode was written by Jeff Manel, directed by the other Jeff, the other white Jeff, because I believe they're both white. Probably shouldn't say that without knowing if Jeff Manel is white. Jeff McCracken directed this. Originally aired February 27th, 1998. It was the same night as our previous episode. They did a double dip to end Sweeps Week, or Sweeps Month. Currently enjoys an IMDb rating of 9.4. It is 1.2 higher than our last episode and is our highest rated by the IMDb system episode of this season. And the Nielsen numbers. Tyler, our last episode just aired right before this one on the same night, pulled in 13.30 million viewers. What do you think this one did?
Well, there has to be a little bit of a drop because of kids going to bed, so let's go with like 11.
Very sound reasoning and very sound numbers. 11.76 million.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I remember. I think my family was surprised that there was another episode because season 5. I remember it airing and watching as a kid. More importantly, I very much have a memory of watching this episode as a kid. Mind you, I was younger than my oldest child was when this aired. So my poor parents had no idea probably how bad this episode was going to be.
I guarantee they did not.
Yeah. And, it's one of those deals where Brett, if you start something, you let the story play out. And I think they thought, okay, let's just, at this point, we'll let him finish the story because it'll wrap up at the end. They know it does. And so whenever it came out of the dream, I remember I'm going like, see, it was just a dream. It was just a dream all along. And then when they
Mm-hmm.
flicked the light switch off, and all of a sudden the guy came out and went, "What does that mean? What does that mean?"
Is he really real? Yeah,
Right. They're like,
this is like the first one that they had to, the TVY7, FV, whatever.
mhm.
This is the first time that had to have descriptors applied to it. Up to this
This is
point, it
full
was,
blown Nick Nick cut episode, Brett.
yeah. I mean, this was a TV 14 episode. I mean, there's
Mhm.
lots of talks of killing and murder and mildew, as Corey would call it.
Mhm. And virgins never die.
Virgins never die. Shawn will get as sick as you can without dying, which is such a creative and genius line. I will
Uh-huh. It
never
works really
not
well to
laugh
make
at.
clear of where Sean stands and that his subconscious, is very honest about it.
Yep. I will never not laugh at that line.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a good one.
Uh,
I mean, this is a classic episode. I I personally feel, Brett, it gets overhyped. We talked about this when the Boy Meets World Fever guys asked us to help in their closing bracket, which we still have not seen yet. I'm waiting with anticipation.
yeah, guys.
Boy Meets World Fever, what's the deal? But we talked very
What's the
openly about how
deal?
this is a great episode. It's a classic episode. We'll watch it. But I mean, like, it's a little overhyped. And there are episodes we like more than this one in particular. So, but Brett, should we get into this episode?
I think we should.
Yes, we fade in. Everything is normal except dun dun dun. Corey is in the wrong seat, and Sean's a little peeved. Like, what's the deal? He goes, "Well, the wife and I aren't together anymore, so I figured I'd use you as a buffer." And he's just like, "Great! Now Feeney's gonna notice I'm here." And I love. He goes, "I can't believe I have to deal with the ramifications." Ooh, ramifications! Nice word,
Ooh,
Jughead.
ramifications. Nice word, Jughead.
Oh yes, I think that needs to come back a good amount.
I think so too.
So yeah, I mean, it's not bad logic on Corey's part to say, "Hey, we're
We need some
broken up. Like,
space.
if you could sit in front of me, that would be helpful." Like, 'cause, I mean,
Mhm.
if you're staring at the back of someone that you used to date's head for an entire period, that would be distracting.
Watching her breathe, watching her sweater go up when she raises her hand. Sean gets a little bit too into it at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. But I'm
Yes.
just in the middle of you. I'm not in the middle of you. I'm just between you.
We meet a character named Kenny.
Yes, Kenny. Richard Lee Jackson is the actor's name. First and only time on Boy Meets World. It's all right. 23 acting credits, including Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Star Trek
Mhm.
Deep Space Nine, Baywatch, Saved by the Bell, The New Class, Ally McBeal, Grimm, Nashville, and more. Has not been on camera since 2016. These days, he's actually directing music videos.
Brett, we have a lot of Saved by the Bell Next Generation. We might have to watch that one season.
We might.
um, but yeah, if I didn't know any better, Brett, if you just held up a picture of Kenny beside Matthew Lawrence, I'd go, "Oh, that has to be one of his brothers." So weird they casted one of his brothers in this episode because
They
he
are
looks
remarkably.
so much like him.
They are very similar.
Like, they don't stand by each other, but if they stood by each other, I would swear that they were related.
That might be why they don't ever have them stand by each other.
Maybe. So yeah, Kenny is asking for a pencil. Kenny, who we've never met before and never will meet after this. But Sean is jumping on him. They're not divorced.
I know
Kenny.
what
It's a
it
trial
means to borrow a
separation.
pencil, Kenny.
No one has borrowed more pencils than Sean Hunter.
Apparently, borrowing a pencil is code for a little bow, chicka bow wow.
Well, at least probably a little making out.
A little
But
nick, you know.
I like how Angela's immediately like, she's just asking for a pencil. I know what he's asking for. And if he asks again, I'm going to stab the big pencil through his heart.
Oh, yes. And
So,
with
yes, so Angela's a little concerned. Topanga's like, what's the deal? And Corey is just trying to get through the
Corey's
class
trying to
period.
get through his day, basically.
Yes. Phoebe's trying to bring it back. He's like, we'll return for the young and the restless.
Yes.
The
I
words from
clipped this
Phoebe.
interaction
Go
because it
ahead.
is a favorite of mine.
We'll return to the young and the restless right after this word from Phoebe. And here is the word. Shut up.
Mr. Finn, I'm sure if you recall the pain of being stabbed in the back by a girlfriend.
I didn't stab him. He stabbed me.
Oh, I'd stab myself before I'd stab you. Kenny, give me that pencil.
I don't have one.
Alex, this class will not be more interested in the romantic goings-on of its students than it is with whatever the hell I'm teaching. Matthews, go sit on that side of the room. Lawrence, you sit on this side. Right now, let's go.
Mr. Feeney, you can't do that. You're contributing to the furtherance of their apartness.
I'm trying to teach a class here. Now, Mr. Hunter, Nebraska.
Oh, don't try and change the subject.
Quiet! One more crazy interruption, and all you nuts are going into detention.
Now, I will say, Brett, right now, the chalkboard only has chapter 7 or 13, 12, 13, 23, and 24. What
Yes,
possibly are how are those 4 chapters connected is what I want to know.
That and all we know about is Nebraska.
Yeah, he just said Nebraska.
Whatever the hell he's teaching. Even Feeney doesn't know what class he's in. I wasn't
That's
sure
true.
what class to put on his business card. Which, good-looking people, by the way. New shirt in the shop. Mr. Feeney's business card.
At this point, does he not know what class he's in at
He
any
doesn't know
given
which
time?
class he's in anymore. He just comes in, writes stuff on the board, just random chapters, just to see if he can figure out which class he's in, to see which student's going to raise her hand and say, Mr. Feeney, you assigned chapter 6 in this class in this book. Oh, yes, thank you, Miss Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
I was just in media literacy. And here we are in mathematics. Yes. And that's the janitor, which as our good-looking people who are deep into the lore of Boy Meets World, yes, Boy Meets World has lore. It's often been claimed that Joe Turkel, who is known for his roles in The Shining and Blade Runner, has made an uncredited appearance as the creepy janitor. The episode director, Jeff McCracken, debunked this a while back and says the janitor was played by an unknown actor that was found by the casting directors, and said they brought in that guy and we all just went, yes, perfect. I don't even know if he's an actor. I've never seen him again. He just has one of those looks. This janitor is not credited. We don't even know if the guy is an actual actor. They just brought him in and said, here, be a creepy janitor.
I mean, it works.
So he has no IMDb to pull information from. Oh, yes.
Well, I mean, that's the thing though about television and movies. Before the internet, it was just like, hey, this person fits a role, and they're there, they're doing everything, quote unquote, might not have a credit, but like, still is a part of it.
Yeah,
If you show that guy's face somewhere, you're gonna go, that's a creepy janitor.
exactly.
When did they hire such a creepy janitor? What happened to Bud? What happened to janitor? Hot Chet.
Where's Chet? Where's janitor dad? Did you say janitor hot Chet?
I was gonna say Hunter, and then I was like, huh, Chet.
Janitor Hunt Chet. Okay.
Yeah. I'll read the transcript later on.
Yeah.
So Feeney is trying to get back to actual educating and keeps yelling out Nebraska, and people are very confused. Honestly, this is very much a Corey Matthews teaching situation more than a
It really
Phoenix.
is.
Yes. I do love Corey goes, "Oh, I stabbed myself before I stab you. Kenny, give me the pencil. I don't
I
have
don't have
one."
one. Oh, yes.
Yes. I do love that we're in detention, and who knows when this detention started or what happened, but it's like I didn't think seniors got detention anymore. They do when they
They
act like
do when they act like
2-year-olds. They do when they
2-year-olds.
act like 2-year-olds.
Mr. Matthews, when one mocks someone, they should wait until the person they're mocking isn't standing right behind them. I'm not in my usual seat. It's a classic interaction.
I will say though, Corey as a creature of habit, th- breaking up with his girlfriend, who he's been in a relationship with, arguably straight for the past, you know, 3 years, we'll say.
Mhm.
End of freshman year up until this point, with them dating a little bit before then. So, like, arguably for most of his high school career, he has been with this one girl. If they have class together, they're sitting by each other.
Mhm.
Um, and so, like, part of his routine, part of what makes the universe okay for him is not there. So, it's reasonable for his reaction to be a little off and
Oh, it is.
snarkier and more inappropriate.
Totally. Yeah. I don't blame him for being out of it, shall we say. But I am curious. We do know, I mean, it's not exactly a spoiler to say at this point in our discussion that this is all in Sean's head. At
Yeah,
what point do we think detention becomes Sean's dream?
I'd argue that whenever we go in, it's probably in his head, like he's falling asleep, and maybe those are the words that they're saying back and forth to each other. But or maybe after he leaves, I guess I don't know. The other question is it actually happening in a dream, or is he daydreaming all of this too?
I
Because
think
that could be,
I think he totally fell asleep.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Um, I like how Phoebe makes it very clear. I'm not in detention. I can do whatever I want, and just
Yeah.
walks out.
Yeah, he's not wrong. He doesn't have to stay there. But I love how Sean's going to get his cheese product. Not
Yes.
cheese, not block of cheese, his cheese product, which is
Mm-hmm.
probably a can of cheese spray.
Could be, it could be just about anything. It is the '90s, after all. What
Yeah.
happens in the '90s happens in the
It's the
'90s.
Leaning Tower of Cheese. That
That's a pull.
is a pool.
But
So
the
that the
door is
people go
locked,
watch
Brett.
the Goofy movie. The door is locked.
Yeah.
But you know what? Feeney can't do that. Why?
It's against the Geneva Detention Convention.
Not a thing. We're firmly entrenched in Sean's imagination at this point, though. So now it's all out the window. And I say anything I say about the dream for going forward is under this blanket statement. It's all within the ultra heightened reality of Sean's dream world now.
Yep. Yep. It is. That is true. But and this is honestly where the episode starts to get enjoyable too, Brett.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was good before, but this it as an enjoyer of I would consider myself a horror aficionado, which clearly I've passed along to at least one of my children. As someone who enjoys good storytelling, creative storytelling, who loves just slapstick humor on top of all of that, this episode just hits on all the right notes for me.
Mm-hmm. I do like how Feeney says, "I'll see you in an hour and a half," or 90 minutes, the typical
Mhm.
runtime of most great slashers.
Oh, yes. Any longer and you're not into a slasher. Any less and you're really just into, directed video release.
Yep.
Yeah.
An hour, 90 minutes is basically rom-com or horror movie traditional.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you're getting into the 2 hours, it better be a spectacular story that no one wants to turn away from.
Yeah. And longer than that, oh man, you've got to be worthy of an Oscar.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, the map flips over Brett and shows no one gets out alive, written apparently in blood.
In blood. Oh, yes. And then that is where we find out Angela is the screamer of the group.
Yes, Angela
Yes.
has a very good scream.
She does. Yes. She could definitely fit in the role of the screamer in any 90-minute screamer or a 90-minute slasher. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm amazed that the actress that plays her didn't get any offers for being in a horror movie after this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right around this time, I do take it with I do take a little bit of understanding. She was pregnant while filming this episode. So, I mean, she probably wasn't going for anything for a few months after this episode. So, yeah.
Fair.
But after she was back and ready to go into, looking for some more jobs outside of sitcom world, I would have booked her.
Yes, and Sean immediately steps into the role of know-it-all scream expert.
Oh yes,
and
he's seen everything. I want to. It's a. I don't know if I'm ever going to, but it would be a fun project to create one sheets. The movie posters that you'll see outside of a theater for all of these movies that Sean talks about having watched that he's learned all this from.
Yeah, most of the titles are very much right on the head, for the point they're trying
These
to
are
make, and that's
not
the joke.
real movies. Good-looking people. If you didn't pick up on those,
But to have a creepy character or a harbinger, if you will, to start off the movie, and that's what we'll refer to this time period as the movie. Probably make our lives easier.
This is meta horror. This is Scream.
Oh yes,
they referred to it as the Scream episode on set. So I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's by far the most influence they get, because Sean walks right into the Randy block, and if they really wanted to, they could have easily made a joke about him referring to himself as Ryder, just as in Scream they refer to Randy's character at one point as Jamie. So meta on meta.
Yeah.
But
it's so meta. It's meta admitted itself. It's like Abed.
Yes, but I love how they're making it clear that their thought right now is that Feeney is just messing with them, and he's trying to make it so that way we learn a lesson. It's like, what lesson?
Pay attention or we die.
Pay attention or die.
Yeah.
But you have Corey and Topanga at each other's throats immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Kenny has a hat on now.
Yes, Kenny has a hat on now. But I like how Topanga's like, "You're nuts. You stop attacking me. You're not allowed to attack me anymore.
You gave up that right." Yeah.
But everyone kind of looks at Kenny as, well, you're gonna die first.
Oh yeah, clearly he's not one of the group.
Yeah. Why do you saying it's me? He's like, well, Kenny, clearly it's not gonna be any of us.
It's not gonna be one of us.
He's not wrong. We're in the sequel, where the killer has been revealed not to be any of the four of them already. So why would it be one of them this go around?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, that was my problem with Scream Queens. Is once the final reveal came down, it's like, well, I can't watch another season of this, or it's not gonna be any good.
Yeah. Never watched it myself.
The first season was enjoyable. The first season, a lot of meta funness to it, similar to what this is. But problem is once you reveal your killer, if you bring back the whole cast that wasn't the killer, any guest star with that's worth a lick of bringing them in is going to be the killer.
Oh, obviously.
You know, that's where Glenn. The first time I watched a movie or anything with Glenn Powell was in Scream Queens. Chad Gradwell, one of the best TV characters ever. Chad in every way.
Chad.
Yes, but apparently there's a loud banging going on, Brett, and it's getting closer, and it's making them nervous.
Closer. And it symbolizes our beating hearts, and that something horrible is about to come right through that door.
Right
Howdy
now.
ho.
Yes,
It's Eric.
Eric with some South Park references.
Yeah, he's got Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh, and he'll reference some other South Park characters. This is from this point on in the series, they're just gonna have Will throw whatever he can at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. But Jack's super calm, cool, and collected. Hey, whose blood's on the blackboard?
They're just so. Sean's idea of how people react under pressure is just so interesting to me. They go from talking about the water pressure in the showers to all the blood all over the place, just so nonchalantly. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and apparently the janitor also creeped them out a little bit too. So he just keeps rolling around with that squeaky wheel, apparently.
Apparently. Yep.
Yeah. But everyone's still freaking out, and there's apparently blood coming out of the showers, like that movie.
Yep.
Blood in the showers.
Blood in the showers.
Yes. I do think we need to make sure I don't know if we actually said this correctly, Brett, but the janitor's name is Freddy.
Yes.
Yes.
It's never expressly stated, but it is on his uniform.
His name tag is.
Yeah, he's got the patch.
Yeah. Reference to, I think, Scream, with the janitor also being Freddy, played by Wes Craven, and then the famous character from the Nightmare franchise. So
you mean Jason?
Yes. Of course.
Ah, yes.
Yes. Kenny is still there. It's like, and it's such a shame that Kenny has to die first.
Oh, yeah. And I think I've got a clip that starts around this point for us.
What do you think Finney's trying to do? I think that he knows we're too old for detention to scare us like it did when we were little kids, right? So he's turned this school into a total chamber of horrors.
Dr. Feeney's House of Terror.
Doesn't scare me. Nothing scares me. And Topanga doesn't belong to your best friend Cora anymore. And if I want to borrow a pencil from her, I will. And what are you gonna do about it? You put on a little weight since the last time you were scared? No. You scream when the lights go off. The scream when the lights come on takes away from the first scream. Now you're just being wild. We'll always remember he was that tall.
Oh my gosh! They killed Kenny!
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a weird reaction for a normal human being to have. Just,
yeah,
we'll always remember he was that tall.
And if you, and this is why they had to film this without anyone in the studio. Well, they had to film this on closed sets, because if you had been sitting in the stands watching them film this live, and you watched these characters react like that to another teenager being murdered in front of them, there's no way you would be able to react to this with any sense of normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't be able to get through this episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dr. Feeney's House of
House
Terror.
of Horror. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Also, though, of just Sean blatantly ignoring the fact that he is there dead, like that he just won't even look his way to see that he is there dead. Also, just part of oh gosh, sorry, the denial he has probably.
Mhm.
Yes, but the classic, they killed Kenny.
Ah, yes. Oh my gosh, they killed Kenny.
They run into the hallway.
Yep. Eric can't find his basketball.
Probably the second most catchy song they've ever produced outside of the title scene, Brett.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Here's a knife, here's a gun, there'll be fun for everyone. Death is on the menu tonight.
Yes, Sean is not impressed whatsoever. So low budget.
Oh, yes. So low budget. And eventually, you know, Feeney's going to show up. He's going to reveal his grand plan.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, my basketball's gone too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. What I appreciate about this is almost like they still think it's a joke. Like,
They
you know,
think
hey,
they think
Kenny died.
Feeney murdered a
loss,
teenager.
sure. Yeah.
They run through the school. School's all locked down. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get our first glimpse of the shadowy figure.
Yep. Classic guy with a black, I don't know.
Ghost face without the ghost face.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
If they could have gotten the copyright, they probably would have just done ghost face, honestly.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I don't think
Skullface.
Skullface. We'll call it Skullface. Yeah. I don't think Ghostface was a Warner Brothers property though.
Yeah, probably.
I think that might have been Dimension. But anyway,
Yes, but
that's not
Sean makes it
even
very
it.
clear that there's going to be a shadowy figure creeping behind them that none of us will see.
Dun, 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 dun. Yes.
Yes. And the song continues to play, and Feeney appears. And again, that great training, that actor that he is standing perfectly still. We reveal the scissors that he was holding in his hands just earlier is in his back now. Oh my gosh, they killed Feeney.
And Sean is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
doesn't
Corey
know
up
what to
until this
do.
point goes, obviously, you had to kill Kenny. Obvious
Yeah.
choice, but the pencil, George.
Just genius. They're so nonchalant about their mentor, their father figure, their surrogate father figure, their teacher, killing another teenager by shoving a giant pencil through his brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
So that
great.
they run into the classroom to hide.
Yeah.
And they're going to talk about who else can they expect to die.
Yeah. And I do like that as they're coming back here, Shaw's made it clear. Okay, the rules of horror movies dictate if you accuse someone, either they will be the killer in the end or they have to die.
Mm-hmm.
So he accused Feeney. Feeney's not the killer. So clearly Feeney had to die.
Yep.
So this is the part where he goes into virgins. Virgins never die.
Virgins are safe.
Yeah,
Jack's
like,
dead.
Hey, thanks for saving me.
Eric's dead. Yeah, Corey says, thanks for saving me. Yep. Sean will get as sick as he can without actually dying.
Yeah. And they start to do a small little cheer and dance for Feeney for
I go
getting it.
Feeney. I go Feeney. I go Feeney. He was married.
The man's married. Multiple times people run into him with a female lady.
She is my dentist, man.
Uh-huh. And you know, I don't want to go there, Brett, but technically Sean being roommates to Jack and Eric, if one of them have a lady friend over, technically Sean would know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sean is well aware if the guys who apparently have no real game are going to die or not, shall we say. I can't imagine those walls are very thick.
Yeah. I like how they try to recap. Kenny's dead, Feeney's dead, we're trapped inside with a killer.
I love Eric's calm, cool recap.
Mhm.
It's the janitor. And now you've killed him too.
Yep. And there's also a point just of Sean just kind of accepting this is what it is.
Yep.
But we got a very important line delivery from Sean and Topanga. Because Topanga says to them, "You were wrong about Feeney, you were wrong about this." And Sean yells at her angrily, "You were wrong to break up with Corey."
And what does that have to do with any of this? Did any of this happen when you and Corey were together? You've killed us all. This is his head making sense of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
In his head, Corey and Topanga splitting up is the death of everything. So the the janitor's cart comes closer. They go out and they examine. There's like 15 retainers in here.
Yeah, which would be gross.
Yeah, but the janitor's dead in there. Oh, the killer's dead.
Up top!
I do love that.
I do love that.
Up top!
That'll probably be making its way around here too. Yes. But I love the next sequence where they're talking about and Eric keeps interrupting here.
The death of the janitor signifies the end of the last of the obvious suspects. Just like in the cult classic, The Last of the Obvious Suspects.
That would mean
Dun dun dun.
The killer is one of us.
Like in The Killer is One of Us. Dun dun dun.
enough already.
Do we upset you?
Yes.
Upset you enough to kill?
Dun dun dun. Dun dun.
I have tried so many times to do that running bit, and every time I start it, mostly my wife looks at me like, no. It's always upsetting to me, but I love that bit so much. Go ahead, Brett. You talk.
To this day, I still have those 3 Eric dun 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 audio files on my phone, filed away as text notifications for certain people.
Nice.
And
Dun-dun-dun.
as they play out,
I'm done.
I really have to ask, what is up with Corey's accent when he's talking about one of us is a cold-blooded murderer. When he gets to the word murderer.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just that heightened reality, even more heightened, I think, of just like.
Oh,
there's
I'm
always a
curious real
curiosity
world
with Corey.
I'm curious real world. Like, I'm curious for Ben. Was that an acting choice or a directing note?
Well, it could be either one, really. I mean, it feels like this is one of those episodes that just kind of really went for it at points.
Yeah. But and here's the other question for Sean's subconscious. They've all been together. They were all in the room when the janitor was killed. They were all together when Feeney was stabbed in the back with the scissors. To to Sean's subconscious, none of them could be the killer unless one of them's a duplicate, which is what we get in the end.
Right.
So the idea of interrogating each other is pointless. But I love watching on the side while they're being Corey's interrogating Eric, just sitting there like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this is also a fast forward for all the horror movie classics and cliches. So
you've got
like,
9 people in a room and people are just starting to die off. One of you is the killer.
right.
Yeah.
And I do like
Identity.
how we get this little moment where Eric and Jack are trying to figure out which one is going to stay in the hallway and look for clues or look for other people or look for a way out. And it's like, well, I'm the oldest. I can't argue with that. But I was born
I've
first.
lived longer. I'm the oldest. Well, yeah, but I've lived longer. Okay.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Dun,
Yes,
dun,
and we get to a very awkward moment where we meet a character known as Jennifer Love Pfefferman.
Yes. Jennifer Love Pfefferman, also known as Jennifer Love Hewitt. First and only appearance on Boy Meets World. 58 acting credits, which is lower than I expected.
Yeah.
Including Kids Incorporated, Sister Act 2, Trojan War, which she acted in with Will, Can't Hardly Wait, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Still Know What You Did Last Summer, Party of Five, which was her big break, Heartbreakers, The Tuxedo, Ghost Whisperer, The Client List, Criminal Minds, 911, and more. And yes, good-looking people, at this time, she and Will were an item, so that really uncomfortable makeout scene that even creeped out the rest of the actors on the set, it's because they were dating.
Yeah, well, I also believe it kind of creeped out Will Friedle as well, too.
If I remember right, yes, it did. I do remember hearing that.
Yeah, so uncomfortable all around, but also very accurate to the horror trope of hormones flowing.
Oh, yes. The threat of death will make everyone want to have some nick.
Yes, yes. I like how Eric is like, "Killer, you're the killer." And I'm going to say that you're not the killer because you're beautiful, and I'll believe you. But you're the killer. You've got to be the killer. I'm not the killer. I believe you.
I believe you. Oh, I'm brave enough to keep you safe from the bad killer man.
Yeah. But I will say, in a classic horror movie fashion, this random character out of nowhere could potentially be the murderer.
Yeah. I mean, here's someone you've seen people getting killed off one by one away from your group, and all of a sudden this Jennifer Love Pfefferman, who I wouldn't trust further than I could throw her, shows up. Maybe this person's the killer. Yeah. She doesn't look like the killer type to me.
Pfeffy
I am,
could
however,
be
less sure about Eric.
Yeah, I mean, Pfeffy could be the psychological version of Sean that is willing to do so.
Yes, who is Pfeffy in Sean's psyche?
Right, showing a duality within himself. That would be interesting for more.
The part of him that's willing to make out with Eric?
I don't know, Brad. This episode is so ridiculous. But yeah, so they refer to her as Pfeffy, and they say you can hang out with us because clearly a random girl who just started at the school is clearly trustworthy.
Yes, girl, I am the screamer around here.
Yeah, I love the scream off the two of them have. It's wonderful.
It's great, yeah.
Yes. But the phone rings, Brett, and another indication that this is not reality.
Yes.
Yeah, because Eric answers it, and then at one point rips out the cord, which for any of the young people out there, you used to have phones you had to put money into, and then have a cord. But yeah, Because Eric says, "Great, when he comes here, we'd hit him with this."
Everyone else is thinking we can call for help. No, when he comes here, we can hit him with this.
Yeah. So yeah, no, he answers, he talks to him, and basically
He says what all
yeah,
killers will
on
say.
and on and on.
He wants to kill us. He wants us to stay here and wait for him.
Yes, but they all run away, Brett. They run
Yes.
away to a location we've only seen once. It looked a lot like
Yes.
Turner's classroom, and we return to the library. And
Yes.
I love Eric's quote, which is, "When did the school get a library?"
Every day's a new adventure, says Jack. I would have loved to have seen them take advantage, since they were filming on closed sets, to either go next door to another production set to their library, or just go off site to an actual library for like an hour.
Yeah.
You know, they're already filming on closed sets. I would have just
Yeah.
just for something, because this
No.
feels so. I know there are good budget constraints, and it just for the setting for their finale, it just feels so confined and claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll roll with it because it is what it is. It's Sean's dream, but I wish the production could have done that, since they were already filming on closed sets.
Yeah. Now, what set do you think they're actually using right now, Brett? Like, it doesn't.
I don't
It
think
looks
they
like
were
they
just
may have.
using one. It just looked like one of the classroom sets, really.
Yeah. I guess it's just not as clear as last time around.
Yeah. Or maybe rework the living room, the Matthews living room set, keep the staircase, and really play with it.
That's
Play with
fair.
the space. So
Because it's a good space. There's no way around it. Like, it reminds me of the boys' apartment with where the window is / where the what they call the porch they have is the balcony, as they refer to it. But there's no clear door to get there, so it's like you have to go through a window, which is exactly what they do to get to where Jack and Angela get pushed off.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, just a weird setup for this ultimate moment in this episode. So
Yeah.
yes, but we're in a strange library that we've never been into before, and we'll never go back to, actually. And everyone's kind of separated. Corey ends up walking beside Feffy, and she comforts him, saying, "It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this." And Topanga is lurking in the back.
Noticing that she gives him a small peck while he's not
Yes.
asking for it. Gee, I wonder what that was in Sean's subconscious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. But Feffy is walking away, and Feffy is attacked by books, Brett.
They flew off the shelf at her.
Yes, and it was like she couldn't move. She
I
was stuck
know.
to the floor. Very similar to the scene from Austin Powers. No! Stop!
And I'm looking, there were 12 books that felled Feffy.
Yeah.
12 books that killed her.
I get, like, someone throwing an actual large book at you and it knocking you unconscious, but you're telling me that just some random books are able to hit this girl and knock her out and
Well,
later on kill her?
to Sean at this point in his high school career, he probably still views some of these books in the library that he'd find as dangerous.
Oh, fair. Yes,
If it's
but
not poetry, he's probably not interested in it. And
Eric
poetry books are pretty light.
Eric finds Feffy, and apparently
No,
she got a glimpse of the
Feffy,
killer.
save your breath.
I'm dying.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But she
and
tries to tell him who the killer is. Oh.
Yep. Eric
When
dies.
more books are knocked down, killing Eric.
Yes, Eric dies from more books. And this is where we get to see, like we heard earlier, we get a peek into Sean's subconscious, where Jack is superficial, willing to commit suicide over losing Eric and his rent money. Angela's logical and cool-headed, talking Jack down off that very real ledge. And the killer pushes them both off the ledge.
Yep. Which, interesting enough, that Sean's subconscious is willing to knock off both Jack and Angela at the same time.
Leaving just Shawn, Corey, and Topanga in his world.
Mm-hmm. The two characters that just were introduced this season, the two characters who are supposed to be, at this point, closest to him, and those two are pushed out immediately together.
Yeah.
Just fascinating.
Indeed.
But yes, we're left with the original three of Corey, Topanga, and Shawn. And they're just asking him, why are you doing this? Why? And he just forces Corey and Topanga to hold hands.
Mm-hmm.
And Shawn takes off the mask, revealing Shawn.
I never would have guessed. Now, first time around when I saw this, when it first aired, I was surprised. Mm-hmm. Because that wasn't in the realm of possibility for me for very first time I watched it around. But, looking back many, many times through, yeah, they kind of telegraphed it. If you are I wasn't as big into meta entertainment or the horror genre the first time around. Watching it this time around with that kind of a critical eye, yeah, they kind of set it up, but they did a really good job with it.
Yeah.
With this being Shawn's dream and everything in place where it needs to be, this is a young man realizing what he's about to confess to Mr. Feeney, which I do have clipped for us to hear.
Yes, I know. I, too, read Teen Beat, Mr. Hunter.
And I guess I've been taking it pretty hard. And I'm sorry I disrupted the class and killed everybody, but I think I know why I did it.
Pray tell.
You guys have been together since before I even knew you. And if you're not, then I guess I feel like there's nothing I can depend on. And it really makes me angry that there's nothing I can do to fix that.
Shawn, you're not responsible for this.
What do you mean?
This isn't your fault.
Something bad happened, Mr. Hunter, but for the very first time, you're not responsible.
How come I feel so bad?
Well, because you're a troubled young man. I recognize that from the movie, A Troubled Young Man.
Now, I think one of the things that helps this episode is the fact that it is the dream. And, you get an honest reaction from everybody. Of Shawn just kind of making clear of, I put us here. I feel like it's my fault that all these things happened. And they're all just trying to be like, no, to read it just a little bit more, they're all saying, we all played a part of this. Feeny not being responsible and being a good chaperone, Corey for being inappropriate, Topanga for, I don't know, being too Topanga this season. A bad thing happened, and they're trying to figure out how to move on from that. What is the best way to continue living life now?
Yeah. And Shawn's not responsible for it for the first. He's had so many times in his life where things went wrong and he was at the center of it. I mean, Cherry Bomb Day. Why am I blanking on other options? But the character that he's been painted as having been at the center of so many bad things. And now his life is surrounded by hurt and pain and where he normally would be at the center of the responsibility for it, he's not, and he doesn't know how to deal with that. He's been handed a what a lot of people would be defining as a traumatic loss, where he's lost the stability that he had, and he's not sure how to cope with that. And so he's acting out because that's the only thing he knows how to do.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately.
This is one of the few times that Corey and Topanga being together since the sandbox actually works for me. Is in this episode. It's the most stable relationship in Sean's life. And if it's gone, what does he have? He has Alan and Amy, of course. But looking back at season 1, he wasn't really all that close with them because he felt at arm's length with Alan. And really into season 2 and maybe into season 3, we don't really see him looking up to Alan until maybe season 4, maybe into season 3. And if you don't look up to someone, you're not going to look up to their marriage as an example of something that you want or that you respect. Right. So this is really the only, if they've been together since the sandbox and you've been around that, this is the only stable relationship in his life that he's had. And if it's gone, he doesn't know what to lean on. So this is the only time that idea works.
Yeah.
For me.
I can see that. Well, and the other thing I think about Brett is that he says quite often, I want what Corey and Topanga have. I want what Corey and Topanga have. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it feels like that's the only motivation he has to be with Angela. Because at no point in this episode do they make it clear that they are together. Like, at no point is his subconscious, it's me and Angela. We're doing our thing. And Corey and Topanga, they have their thing over there. But it's all focused in on Corey and Topanga getting them back together. Which is why there is some credos to one of the few good things they do in Girl Meets World is how they bring him and his future wife together. Spoiler alert. I know.
Another show that's been over for a decade.
Spoiler for a show that has been over for a decade now.
I will also say that we do know what class Feeney was teaching here. It was world history. They all have their world history books out.
Nice. World history that includes Nebraska.
Yes, it does. So, in the tag, we have Mr. Feeney's dream.
Yes.
Everyone's spouting off what they know. What
Sir,
do they know,
Mr.
Tyler?
Feeney, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I love how part of his dream is stumping Topanga. But
yeah.
Sean knows the answer. He's excited.
Yes. And Corey has written a proposal that would counteract the Pythagorean theorem. Someone better than me at math would have to explain how that would work, but okay. And when he accepts his Nobel or whatever highly robust prize, he'll extend the credit all to Sir Mr. Feeney, sir.
Let's all give it up for Sir Mr. Feeney, sir.
Nebraska.
Nebraska, Mr. Hunter, Nebraska.
The 75th state. Major export. Tortillas.
Yes, even Topanga is not paying attention and not interested in learning.
Yeah. Initially, I balked at why she was, but the more I think about it, she's a teenage girl. This is natural for a teenage girl to blow off steam at the end of her senior year.
I mean, hey, if your teacher falls asleep, you have every right to act as crazy as they're acting.
Totally.
They're all seniors.
Yeah.
What you doing? Okay.
Up top!
And that is an episode, Brett.
All right. So, Tyler, do you have any deep dives for us?
Oh, sure.
People, 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 people. Am I the only one who read the summer reading list?
I guess let's start with that TV parental guidance, Brett.
All right. TV
All
Pagud.
right, the TV parental guidance are television content rating system in the United States that was first proposed in December 19th, 1996 by the United States Congress, the American Television Industry, or the FCC. The guidelines went into effect on January 1st, 1997. So far, in the time period of this show, it's only really been around for what would be like a season and a half at this point of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, 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 blah. But the ratings, you have TVY, it's designated appropriate for all children. TVY7, it's programming designed for children age 7 above. And TVG, most suitable for all ages. Programs are generally suitable for all audience, though may not necessarily contain content of interest to every children. And TVPG, this program contains materials that parents may not find suitable for young children. Programs may contain some materials that parents or guardians may find inappropriate for young children. Program assigned TVPG rating includes coarse language, some sexual content, some suggestive dialogue, or moderate violence. So then you have TV 14 and then just TV mature. So each of them have a distinction potentially of sexual or suggestive dialogue, coarse or crude language, sexual situations, violence, even fantasy violence, excluding 2Y7. So that is your going into the ratings. Blah, 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 blah. So we get the title apparently from And Then There Was None, which is not the original title. However, we're not the type of podcast that's going to go into what the original title was. If you want to look it up, go ahead. But it was an Agatha Christie novel published in November 6th, 1939. It's a murder essay. This book is on the world's bestsellers list, selling over 100 million copies. The novel lists as 7th best. Blah, blah, blah. So basically, 8 people arrive on a small, isolated island, each having an unexpected invitation. They are met by butlers and housekeepers who explain that their host have not arrived yet. A framed copy of a rhyme hangs in the guest room. In the dining room table sits 10 figures. Acting on host's written instructions, Mr. Rogers puts a gramophone record, which accesses all 10 people's present of having commit murder. The guests realize that none of them know Owens. Finishes his drink. Okay, so basically it's a murder mystery by Agatha Christie, not too dissimilar from other ones that she has produced. So, in 1940, there was the title was switched to "And Then There Was None" when it was released in America. That is important to know. So, so South Park is mentioned / quoted a couple of times. Brett, South Park, as you might know, is an American animated sitcom created by Trey Parker, Matt Stone, and developed by Brian Gardner, and Comedy Central. The series revolves around four boys: Stan, Kyle, Eric, and Kenny, and their exploits in around the uh, titular Colorado town. South Park features many recurring characters for its profanity, dark, surreal humor, and satirize a large range of subject matter. Well, apparently, they have over 300 episodes already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's plenty more you can find about them, but that's where the whole, you kill Kenny and also the hidey ho comes from.
Hidey-ho.
Okay. Hey, Brett. How far back do you think modern hygiene medicine came from, or orthodontics?
Let's say 1700s.
Okay. Humans have been dealing with their tooth pains and rearranging their smile for over 2,000 years. Archaeologists have found devices designed to treat malocation, abnormal alignment of the teeth, jaw, and muffled remains dating back to Egypt Empire. Crude metal implement. Oh golly, sorry. Um, Adornal items of teeth and jars and mummified remains dating back to Egyptian Empire. Crude metal implements were discovered wrapped around teeth. Experts theorized that catgut was used to guide the tooth and keep in position. Hmm. All right, so the retainer, the Holly retainer, is named after its inventor and remains one of the most well-known methods of protecting teeth alignment, despite the fact its design is from the early 1900s as an adjustable retainer. It, go it again. It allows for correction by orthodontist and can be useful if the braces did not fully correct the malocation. While still popular, the Holly retainer has begun to be eclipsed by modern orthodontics development. The Essis retainer, invented by John Sardine in 1993, the Essence retainer allows the maintenance of teeth alignment while being significantly less uh, obtrusive, and the Holly model, made from thick, clear PVC material, Essex retainer have become hugely popular and can wear these without impacting speech or obscuring your smile. I'm thinking that the 1993 version would be the clear retainers, which I'm going to be honest with you, having both a metal and one plastic one, and the clear ones, I think my preference was always the metal one because it was a lot easier to deal with. The clear ones, the moment you stopped wearing them, your teeth got all sorts of jacked up, and I never liked them. So that's just me, Brett. Okay, so Nebraska. They mention it, so let's talk about it, Brett.
All right.
Nebraska is a unique among all the states because as a single house system, it wasn't always called a uni caramel. However, um, that is what it's referred to as. Basically, they have one system of government instead of having two branches, House and Senate. They have one. So unicameral, apparently. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to say about that. And lastly, this is considered one of the best episodes that they've ever created. Lots of parody of horror movies. They don't outright name a bunch of movies, Brett, but you can see signs of stuff from like Scream, a little bit of I Know What You Did Last Summer. A lot of the classic slashers is all up in there as well. Little Jason, little Freddy Krueger stuff. So plenty of things in there for horror fans. I personally, I think you like this as well, Brett, of the times in which you would see the POV of the killer, i.e. the Michael Myers shot. Oh wow, I'm getting warm. So there's plenty of little references. And if there's any you'd like to name now, Brett, feel free to go ahead.
Oh, I'm good. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying if there's anything else you want to add, go ahead.
Oh, no, nothing to add. I say we keep going.
So that's all the deep dives I have, Brett.
All right. Well, then let's talk about what we learned.
You know anything about the Odyssey? Huh? Did I say you could talk?
I didn't teach you that.
My friend Mr. Matthews will lead the discussion.
Do I have to draw you a picture?
What did we learn from Shawn's dream, Tyler?
I don't know, Brett. What did you learn?
Well, seek therapy when you experience traumatic loss. If not, your trauma will most likely spill out into your everyday life, and you could cause some real damage for those around you.
All right.
Therapy could be as simple as talk therapy. Could be counseling. Could be a lot of different things. But if you experience some traumatic loss in your life, seek some help for it before you turn into Shawn and kill everyone in your dreams and cause some disruption in your classrooms. But seriously, and I say this with all seriousness, if you experience traumatic loss, seek help. Tyler, what about you?
Well, I mean, the obvious one you did take, so I do appreciate that. And you know, at the end of the day, how you process your trauma, your grief, is how you process it. And sometimes we need to listen to dreams. And even if you don't get professional help from it, you do have to reflect upon the things you remember. I've had plenty of dreams where I've sat back and had to wonder, okay, this happened in my dream. Why do I think this happened in the dream? What could this mean? I interact with this person this weird way. Why do I think that happened? Am I missing this person? What should I do? And I have had times where a dream has impacted the way I interacted in the world the next day. So, allow something like this to help you to question more things in the future. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm right?
No, you're exactly right.
So am I done with my education? Can I go?
How do you grade And Then There Was Shawn?
I mean, it's an A+. It's a simple, no-brainer A+. It's not my favorite A+ I've ever given, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's an A+. There's
it's a begrudging
there's nothing
A+,
more to say.
let's be honest.
It's an A+. Yeah, period. It's an A+ episode. There's nothing more to say.
Yep. Oh, there goes my lights.
Hey, there they are again. Yeah. So I believe you owe me some dad jokes before we say goodnight to the good-looking people.
Yes. Well, I got a couple of punny death ones, Brett. So let's
All
see if we can
right.
find any good ones.
Death comes for us all.
The only thing worse than checking in at a funeral is tagging the person in the coffin.
Eh.
All right, let's try this one. Autopsy are a dying practice.
Yes, they are.
All right. I hate going to funerals, Brett, because I'm not a morning person.
MOURN. Ha ha ha.
Mhm. All right, Brett, let's finish up with this one. I think it's fine time that we put the fun back in funeral.
There you go.
There we go.
Oh, yes. Good looking people. Thank you for joining us as we looked at this fantastic episode. And join us in our social media channels at Dads Meet World across X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Dads Meet World. Send us an email at dadsmeetworld@gmail.com. Let us know what you're thinking. And of course, leave us some love on wherever you get your favorite podcasts. 5-star reviews are great, but share us with your friends. That's how we share the dad love with you and with everyone else. Share the dad love so that we can, so that other people can find us and we can share the dad love with them. So until next time, let's see you good looking.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's!
You know, how can I learn so much every week and still be so stupid?
Read the Bible.
I want to be normal, Spud.
We are the Dimmers.
This is good TV.
Dads Meet World is a production of Headfirst Studios. Headfirst Studios. Tell your story.
Death is on the menu tonight.
When these dads meet world.
They want you to take the roles.
Wow. I feel horrible. If anyone has any kids who are watching this, so welcome back to Dad's Meet World, your weekly fun and in no way desire to traumatize your family podcast. I am Dad number one this week, Christmassy Tyler, joined as always by...
Dad number two experiencing some technical difficulty, so hold on a moment. I just lost everything. I don't hear anything at all.
Hello? I am warm and you are cold.
I don't hear you at all.
You don't hear me at all? At all? Excuse me. I'm registering that I'm making noise. So I don't think it's on my end. Oh.
That's better.
Can you hear me now?
My monitors came up. Yes, I can hear it. My monitors came up.
I was checking over my stuff. I'm like, everything says I'm still talking.
Yeah, all of a sudden it just went blank. I got really quiet, and I looked over. My levels are all still normal and everything. I couldn't hear anything. And I checked here. And, wait a minute. Let me trace the line here. Yeah, it just came unplugged.